Hi, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Molly G, back at you another episode of Running With You. And today we got to run about this clip I came across. It's basically a woman talking about Hinge, and she has a story that she had a dating encounter on there. We're going to go ahead on and react to it together. But she basically talks about how she undownloads and re-downloads his back once she get that itch. And she, kind of want to get her freak on. But without further ado, let's go ahead on and see what she talking about, man.
Do I have a story? Do I have a story? I I don't really tell people this, but I think it's funny as fuck. So, I'm gonna be honest. I like download or like pause, unpause my Hinge account whenever I have like the itch. But let me say how I treat Hinge now. I treat it just like a fucking catalog. I treat it like a magazine. I'm just looking through, circling what I want, and like that's it. And no, that's not the purpose of Hinge, but after I explain the story, you might understand why I have these fears. Yeah. So yours truly went out of state of school for a year, and then I moved back home back in like 2022. And I don't know, like all my friends are at school. I didn't know what to do. So Diva went on Hinge. That's smart. So this is before I treated it like a magazine. And I mean, I was very like new to the dating scene. Like I've been on like
Notice how she says she treated like a magazine. I think a lot of people right now are treating people like they items and they could just swipe, swipe, swipe until they want something in the shopping cart and think about if they want to purchase it or not or give it a free trial. And it's a very grass is green on the other side perspective. It's a very I have a lot of options perspective, and that's just the way dating has evolved. I think back in the 90s you had a lot of people still had side pieces and talk to other people, but it was hard a barrier for entry. Now it's just so easy. You just pick up your phone, even if you have an app not downloaded, you could just go ahead on and download it and swipe and get that sense of dopamine and get stimulated. Especially for women, women like to get validation from men, and they get way more validation than the average man because there's so many men hitting them up. And I think that is kind of very bad for a relationship to have a long lasting effect when women can literally be doing these things. And if a woman has multiple social medias and multiple dating apps, to me, that's a red flag. First of all, even if you have a dating app in the first place, I think, unpopular opinion, good women are not on dating apps. They're already in a relationship, they're already married, or they already got a lot of men on their trail to the point where they don't need to create a profile to get a good man. And they know most men on dating apps are trash men. Yes, a lot of people are getting relationships and getting married nowadays from these dating apps, but the probability of you finding just a good man on there or a good woman on there is very hard, in my opinion. And for these relationships to last, because a lot of these women, they they look for this validation and get that stimulated, dopamine over the attention that they're getting. I think it's hard to pair bond with one man and just settle down with him, and especially when things get tough in a relationship. But let's go ahead on and continue.
dates. I had a boyfriend in high school for like a month. We like barely saw each other. And I just had the failed talking stages, in high school and the failed Snapchat. So embarrassing. So I decided to give Hinge a try, because I'd hear my sister would go on Hinge and all this shit. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll meet some people around here. Maybe, make some friends. Match with this guy. We're talking. And we actually, I didn't get the ick from him. Usually I get the ick from everybody. So, got a date planned. And I remembered I had to work that day, but I got off like before the evening, so it worked out. But it actually worked out because I got off early for work because it was slow as fuck, and I was talking about how I had to be the DD for my sister and her friends, and I didn't get home with them until 4 a.m. because they didn't know how to call it a night, and I was ready to lose my ever loving mind. I was like, guys, I have to go to work. I'm doing you a favor. McDonald's is definitely closed. So they're like, okay, you can just get off of work early. Like, you have that date, just leave. I was like, perfect. So I lay in bed, and like I started hearing from him less and less. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's at work. Like maybe he's just busy. I don't know. we'll talk more like the date, you know. So I get ready and I'm not really hearing from him. And I'm like, okay. But I still had it on Snapchat. I'm like, hey, like I just wanted to ask if like we're still on for tonight. And like I think for that I don't remember. I think it was like, oh yeah, sure. I should have known that I drove to like the area that he like lived in for the restaurant. So I drive all the way there and I'm like, hey, I'm here. Like, are you here? Like, should I come in? Motherfucker blocks me like right after. Blocks me. Drives.
Okay, first of all, if he made her drive to his area to go to a restaurant, that was a time saver. And he blocked her and didn't even go see her or anything. To me, the only logical explanation for this, because dudes don't do this to women, especially attractive women, because she is attractive, got a nice smile and everything. He has a girlfriend, and he probably thought he was going to have time to go out to eat with her real quick, but something happened to where he had to abort mission, and he just went on ahead and blocked her, especially to not have her contact him while he's probably back with his girl. So that's my only logical explanation, because men don't move like that. Like if something came up as far as work or money or maybe another female that he's talking to that he's not in a relationship with, he'll probably stall and come up with some excuse or whatever. But just blocking her, no explanation, nothing, that seemed like he has a girlfriend. By the way, men, I don't know if I said this earlier in the video, but if you want to get your roster up, Hinge is probably the best app to do it, because it's a lot of baddies on there. It's little to no catfish on there. And on top of that, if you pay for the monthly subscription, they will boost your account and you will get matches in abundance. You're going to get so many numbers and stuff. You're going to see how it is to be a female when they just have all these men hitting them up, and you're going to be kind of overstimulated. You don't know which one to go because you have, quote unquote, so many options. Like I said, and I think that also taints the dating market,
all the way there to the date and I get fucking ghosted. You know what helped though? My sister was out to eat with all her friends. So I just drove like 10 minutes down the road to where like they were, and they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, eh. Like I was like a little rattled because I'm like, what the fuck? Like at least an explanation. But then after that I was like, fine. And then I was like, I don't know if Hinge is for me. But then got into a relationship like after, like with not using Hinge or anything, and then broke up, and you just go on Hinge. Catalog. Treat it like a catalog. And you want to hear the real kicker?
Treat it like a catalog. Like, come on, man. A woman like this can't be able to just pair bond and just settle down with one man. At least nowhere, no time soon. Now maybe once she start getting older and her looks are fading a bit, then she's just gonna go ahead on and put her ticket in with the best person available, and then she probably gonna settle down. But even then, she's gonna get the ick to go back on it and get some type of validation seeker, and that right there could turn into a link up. So, fellas, I always say, man, you want to meet your woman, dog, like in a real world, dog. Like in a perfect world, you want to meet your woman in a grocery store. You at the fruits and vegetable aisle, you reaching for an orange, she reaching for that same orange, y'all hands touching, then bam, a conversation spark like in the movies. That's the best. That's probably the best way, because I remember, I know now, meeting people on social media and dating apps is very, common and it's acceptable, but I remember it was taboo in the beginning. I don't know if my child's mother, I met her on MySpace. I'm 37, so yeah, that checks out. But we were kind of embarrassed to say we met like that because it was taboo. It gave desperate vibes, weird vibes. So we just lied and said we met at the mall, and we told everybody that's how we met. And it's crazy because my real name is Jamal, and I go by Maul, and everybody's like, "Oh, so you met Maul at the mall?"
My sister has a boyfriend from Hinge. I said that is not the same Hinge I got. And everyone's like, oh, do you have Hinge? And I'm like, no, not this time. Not right now. Maybe I'll download it again in a couple months just because I'll be bored. Yeah. Yikes.
See what I said? Gotta feel that stimulation just because she'll be bored.
That's why if I match with someone, I really don't go on the date because I'm a little terrified.
Oh, okay. Then the story's over. Sorry, this is like really long.
forgot the best part. So, I go through my phases of like re-downloading Hinge or unpausing my account, whatever. So I think like a year ago, around this time, I think I unpaused my account, the same guy that I ended up just like blocking like on everything after, because I was like, I don't want you to contact me ever again, liked me on Hinge. What? No. Yeah, I literally pressed that X so quick. I could have just been petty, been like, are you fucking serious? But I didn't want to give him the like. So yeah, I forgot the best part of that story. I'm trying to rematch with me again.
Another thing that I don't think people talking about in this generation with TikTok and YouTube shorts and everything, so short content, 2-minute songs, 1.5 minute songs. I think a lot of people have short attention spans, and I think that kind of correlates with dating as well. Like, you don't want to be tied down to the same person too long, and I think that correlates with how people don't want to live in the same house anymore because you around them too much. Some people even if they want to live in the same house, separate rooms. So I think when it comes to dating and involving in society, I think this technology and all that is changing people. And, to the young people, this is their reality because they know no reality before this. But I was here before all this, and I knew how dating was. And it was a harder entry for barrier for other people just to come into your life. Like, you really had to be outside to go meet people. I remember when the party line came out. If you know, you know. But even then, you couldn't see pictures, so you still had to physically go see them. But I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section. Have y'all ever dealt with a person like this, or were you a person like this and you had to overcome this? But when it comes to dating apps, man, your best bet is farmersonly.com or christianmingle.com. Like, it got to be a very niche dating app for a specific community. And I think those people are very more willing to have something long-term and real than these other apps like Hinge and BLK and Tinder. Like, I think those apps, a lot of people are just trying to hook up. And if they just so happen to meet the right person, then fine. But I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what you waiting on? Until next time, I'm out.